The enemy of the world right now is real estate agents. Seems like the last election year, it was the police. They're trying to defund them. Now they're trying to defund us. I want to talk about that today and some of the common misconceptions that are out there, some of the solutions that people have discussed, why a lot of those won't work, and more importantly, what you can do for your own business, for your own small business that you're running, where you've got your own sphere of influence, past clients, universe of people that know you, like you, and trust you. So that's essentially what we're going to cover here today. We know for sure that the NAR is doing nothing to repair this damage that's being done to real estate agents. If you've been in any of the chats, if you've been seen any of the social media stuff going on, you're hearing a lot of people saying real estate agents have made too much for way too long. The cartel is over. You've all conspired to do all this together and charge inflated fees. You're not going to be able to make all this huge money anymore. I want to know how they think all real estate agents are making so much money. But that is the general consensus that's out there. The Department of Justice is certainly not helping. But NAR has done absolutely 0% of what they should be doing in order to repair these damages. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because the online bashing has been outrageous. And we're now seeing every single day, I'm getting emails from agents. I'm meeting with this seller and they want to wait till July because then they don't have to pay. I'm meeting with this seller and they only want to sign a listing agreement till July because in July they no longer want to pay. They're all seeing the headlines and they believe these changes are going to make a difference for them. I wanted to address that today so you know what to do if you go out on an appointment right now, if you know how to set the stage, set the standard, and really be an advisor for what they should be doing here. You know, one of the most important things that I've taught for 25 years now, my mentor taught me a long time ago, is really what you're doing is you're building a herd. You're gathering a herd, right? So the people that know you, like you, and trust you. You start with people you went to school with and your dentist and all the people you're associated with. And you build this big sphere of influence and you start to work it. And then you start doing lead generation. So all of those unconverted leads come into your sphere of influence, which I often call your universe. The problem is, what if somebody comes into your herd? What if somebody infects your herd? Well, we're seeing that with the attorneys now. We're starting to see let's face it, they're sending them postcards that say they are entitled to compensation because their real estate agent overcharged them. They are a victim of their real estate agent. That's literally what's happening to every single client you have ever had, back to said date, however many years they're going back. That's what's happening right now. So we have to do our part to mitigate that, to handle those issues that are coming up. But one of our goals is to build a herd, to gather our herd, but then you have to put a fence around it. And you need a big, tall fence, which means nobody else can get in. The quality of your relationship with your sphere of influence is going to determine the quality of your outcome. So what we need to do is not ignore it, not act like it's not happening. We need to go directly into this and educate our consumers with what's actually going on. So that's going to be a little bit about what we talk about here today, because the postcards that are being sent, they're causing damage. They really are. I mean, think about this. If you're my realtor, okay, I'm Greg Luther, I bought a house with you. Or I sold a house with you, and you were a great realtor, and I invited you to the cookout afterwards, and you come to the kids' birthday parties and you do all that stuff. But then I get a postcard from an attorney that says, I'm a party of a class action lawsuit. I may be entitled to compensation. My real estate agent may have overcharged me, corruption, coercion, all of these other things. All I have to do is submit a claim, submit my closing statement, and it will say if my agent was guilty or if I'm entitled to compensation. And guess what? They are entitled to compensation. They're going to get anywhere from $21 to $27, which, how ridiculous is that to begin with? $21 to $27 is what they're going to get. And you are stuck with not knowing how to handle this with your clients, because your clients are like, must have been guilty. I got to check. They must have been guilty. Whatever it was, I didn't get much, but it proves that they were guilty. Now, of course, we have strength in our relationships, right? We know a lot of our customers or our clients, that's not going to be the case. But what you really need to think about here is, can I go directly into this and talk a little bit about how we make this happen to fix our real estate business and the relationship we have with them? Okay, so you should be communicating with them on a regular basis. Your sphere of influence, your inactive clients, we don't call them past clients. That's crazy. I can't imagine if my doctor called me a past patient. I'm just not sick right now. Don't call them your past clients. These are your inactive clients, and I've got to reprogram myself on that all the time. But there's a lot you can do to have a good, meaningful conversation with them. And a lot of what we do is your monthly newsletter that goes out to them. So the monthly newsletter you're sending on a regular basis, are you putting one article in there that addresses this situation, that says you're aware of it, that says you know what's going on, and truly addressing this situation? Do you put something in there? Are you sending any postcards or letters or anything of that effect? Or do you have an email you're sending? Do you have a video that you've created and loaded onto your YouTube channel and you're sharing that with others? Are you putting it on Facebook? Or are you totally ignoring it, as most agents are, acting like it doesn't exist when it's absolute top of mind presence for all of the people that are in our universe? When you log on to the members website, you can go in and get that newsletter that we print for you, right? Or that we create for you. You can have that printed, you can mail it out. We've got it 80% of the way done. You have room to put one article in. Write an article about your opinion about what's going on, so you can better address the situation, but also educate them on what's truly happening at this point. I would do that in this month's newsletter, and I would do it again in July, because it's going to be forefront again if all of this stuff gets signed and if Department of Justice doesn't screw us even more, because now they're reopening old cases that were already settled and all of that stuff. If that comes up again, we need to address this with your universe. All I'm talking about today is your people, your book of business, what you've spent your entire career trying to create. We have to take a proactive approach with this. There's a few things that we need to be talking about. So number one, and these are languaging patterns I want you to use, sound bites I want you to use. They created this lawsuit. The whole basis for this was that realtors charge inflated prices. Buyers should be able to negotiate their own fees. And the reason they're doing this is because they're trying to bring down home prices. Their thought process is, if you, the seller, don't pay a buyer's agent, you'll reduce your price by 3%. I don't suggest you do that. I do not suggest you reduce your price. I do not suggest you make the buyer pay their own fee. Generally, that's going to be built in. Your neighbors don't want you to do that. You don't want to do that. And frankly, it doesn't save you any more money at all. Their whole purpose for this is to bring down home prices and thinking if you don't pay these fees, you'll reduce your price. I do not recommend that. That's one of the things we should be utilizing, saying, advising on how it works. Yes, commissions are negotiable. Yes, you're welcome to pay zero, but your home will cost the buyer more than the neighbor's house will. Your home will cost the buyer more than other homes that are on the market right now. That's one of the things I would be discussing. And again, show them every option so they can make a choice. Let them negotiate. Totally fine, but you should be advising them on that negotiation as well. Another thing that's coming up a lot that we're starting to see, because sellers are already saying, well, I didn't know commissions were negotiable this whole time. I don't even have to wait till July. I want to go ahead and offer zero right now. You're welcome to do that. And we're seeing that in certain areas of the country, that some homeowners are offering zero, but we're also seeing the buyers are saying, I only want to look at homes where my fee is covered. I don't want to look at the homes that charge me an extra fee, where I would have to pay you for compensation. Please only show me the homes where I don't have to pay that extra fee. I think it's advisable to tell the homeowner, we want to make your home as marketable as possible. We want to expose it to as many buyers as we possibly can. And making your home cost them more money only makes you more money, but gets fewer people that are interested. We are not doing the whole purpose of this in the first place, which is reducing home prices by reducing commissions. You're not trying to do that. You're trying to reduce the commissions and keep all the money. But what you're doing is actually making it more expensive. So let's say the lender said, you're not allowed to build in your buyer costs. You have to pay an appraisal fee out of pocket. Well, now they've got an additional fee that they have to pay. Well, you're not allowed to finance the first 6 months of payments. You have to pay that out of pocket. Well, now they got more money they need to spend. Like all of these, because by the way, 3% is about 3 payments that they're going to need to have out of pocket if a homeowner does that. So again, you want to start thinking about what does my language sound like in presenting to them? I'm not trying to convince them of anything. I don't care what they do. Like if you want to not pay a commission, why do I care? I get the same amount. It's just your home's not going to sell as fast. There's going to be far fewer buyers that are going to be interested in this. And frankly, what we're going to do is have appraisal issues because every single buyer is going to ask for it to be built in, and then it's going to be inflated, and then the home's not going to appraise anyway. You're asking for trouble. If you want to do that, that's fine. It does not affect my income. But I owe it to you as an advisor to make sure you understand the truth about what's going on here. Okay, so a couple of things that you do want to mention to them is, again, their sole purpose of this is to try and reduce home prices. That's not going to happen here. It's actually going to inflate home prices, as you can see from what we've laid out, as well as the fact that buyers that are starting to see this now are saying, I don't even want to look at homes that are going to cost me more money. That doesn't make sense. Like that home's $650, that home's $650 plus 3%. I'll go with that one. What are you talking about? Like, yes, it's negotiable, but you're going to hurt yourself in some negotiations. Okay. So keep that in mind as well. Make sure that you do note to them, of course, in your sphere of influence marketing, in your working with your people, it's very important for you to look at the fact that, or educate them on the fact that the sellers are getting an estimated $21 to $27 out of this. Now, keep in mind, the attorneys are getting tens of millions of, they're not getting 3 million or $5 million into their bank account or $8 million into their bank account. They're getting tens of millions of dollars because they represented the victims. They got $21 to $27 a piece. You know why? Because everybody has colluded to make it a set fee of 3% on each side. And the people that charge 33% when they win, and every one of them charges 33% when they win, say that we colluded. What are you going to do? Get an attorney to sue other attorneys? Good luck on that.